Special guest in studio right now, Trisha Lightfoot from Triple P Elkhart County. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me in here.
Thanks for bringing the positive parenting program to WFRN. We're excited to hear the wisdom you have to bestow on us this morning. I know things have changed a little bit. Most kids are at home instead of being at school. I think all kids are at home.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound too desperate, but we could use some help, Trisha.
Oh, yeah.
We're so glad that you're here this morning.
I've even been phoning some of my friends and be like, okay, so what are some ideas we can do right now?
What do you need?
This has been such an interesting time for so many of us. And as a community of Triple P of Elkhart County and just with family and friends, I'm hearing a lot of challenges and successes. So we all have our great days and we have our challenging days. And it's been really fun to hear about that and how the community's getting involved. And I don't know, it's just a very interesting time trying to talk with our kids to reduce the whole fear factor. But it's some interesting stuff going on right now.
The dynamic that I did not expect, I was thinking, fine, it'll just be like a really long summer vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But they still have assignments due.
Uh-huh.
We got some mail with a packet of stuff. And okay, this will be fun. But them still having responsibilities at home was something that I wasn't really expecting to be challenged by.
Yeah.
And keeping them motivated to do those things, saying, hey, we got to get this done. We're home, but we're still still in school. So let's try to manage this. And that's been difficult.
Yeah. And for a lot of folks who've never experienced that before or don't really know how to find that balance, it can be a struggle. And then figuring out what rhythm works for your family. So I've homeschooled before. So my kids kind of fell into this little bit of whatever, it's homeschool, but mom's not the teacher now. So they're just it hasn't been a huge struggle for us, but I feel for those families who they're doing it for the first time, because I remember those early years of trying to figure it out and how much of a struggle that was. So,
and, we didn't choose it either. It just kind of happened to us. We didn't think about it for years and go, okay, I think we're finally going to do this. Let's go all in. No, that didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And then with homeschooling, you get to kind of choose the curriculum and the method and the style you want to teach, and you're not getting that option now. So parents, if you're struggling with that, I would encourage you, go look up some homeschooling blogs. There's really great advice out there when it comes to doing this stuff and managing school at home.
So what do you have for us this morning?
I have the topic of fighting and arguing. So Triple P, again, the community's been really great. They're letting us know what the struggles are and what the challenges are and what the successes are. So I wanted to talk about fighting and arguing today because that's what we're hearing a lot of challenges concerning right now. So the kids, even if they're doing great in school, that's a lot of free time stuck in home, especially for families who don't have a backyard. They're stuck in the apartment. They can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week's weather was a huge blessing for us because we've been cooped up at home inside. It's not really nice enough to go out and do anything. So now we're kind of back there now, but hopefully more better days in front of us.
Yes, hopefully very soon. So I just want to encourage parents on how to handle fighting and arguing, because it's really common for our children to fight, disagree, and to argue at times. And since so many of us are confined, there's a lot of opportunities for this to happen between the siblings. So as parents and caregivers, we want to make sure that we're responding really quickly to this arguing, the bickering, and the disagreements, because we want to give our kids better tools on how to handle arguments and disagreements. We want them to have that life skill to be able to push through that challenge. So I'm just going to ask you, Cody, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Right.
Why are some of the reasons why your kids fight?
They're trying to share something, and they feel like they're not getting their fair share of it.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
then it's my turn because so-and-so's already been doing this for so long. And then there's a disagreement there. But you just had it all day yesterday, something like that.
Yes.
That's very common.
So definitely the sharing, like, I would encourage every parent to really kind of think, like, what is the specific dynamic within my home, my family that causes most of the arguments? So is it dominance? Like, I only have 2 kids, and they're both boys, and now they're teenagers, so there's muscles involved, and like all this testosterone.
It's gonna get dangerous here soon.
Like, I see more of this like dominance and competition thing happening because, like, the youngest is taller than the oldest, but the oldest is stronger than the youngest who's taller than him, and like there's a lot of different things going on. So figure out, like, what is the main trigger for your family, and then focus on that.
Okay.
So to encourage your children to work through disagreements in harmony, I would encourage you to set up 2 to 3 simple ground rules. And what would those rules be like for your family? So again, I'm going to go off of what I've found to work in my home because I have boys and the muscles and the testosterone, right. And one likes to play really rough. He always has since day one, and the other one, not so much. Right. So a rule in our house is to be gentle. You have to respect the other person's tactile sensitivity. Like, one child loves bear hugs, and the other one, you give him like half a space hug, and he's still like, ouch, that hurts. So set up some rules. Mm-hmm. Share and take turns, and then figure out maybe what share and take turns really means. So is that 15-minute increments of sharing? Is it the whole day of taking that toy or whatever? Like, figure out within your family, with your kids, what length of sharing is appropriate and how you're going to handle and manage that sharing. And then maybe use a pleasant voice. So again,
encourage them to use the pleasant voice.
Yes, and we have to model that.
That's true. The pleasant voice is something that I've really been trying to encourage them to use, because whenever there's one of those situations where the sharing doesn't seem to be equitable, the complaint, or some might say it sounds like a whine, is always like, that's what they lead with.
Yep.
And I'm always trying to say, now, let's not say it like that. Let's try to figure out a different way to say it so that you're not just really stepping into that victim being the victim right away. Yeah.
So I remember practicing that a lot with my kids, and it was really challenging. Like, I had to figure this out, and it took a while, but it worked. I was just like, okay, your words are fine. I like the words you chose. I maybe didn't love them, but they were okay. But
could have been worse.
Your tone of voice, though, is what needs to be worked on. Let's try this conversation again.
Yeah.
So, like, it took a lot of persistence and diligence on my part to like continue to like push through that. And I mean, they felt awkward having to repeat this whole conversation argument in front of mom, but it's one of those like great,
hey, we're stuck at home, fun, let's role play this.
Yes, it was one of those really great like mom moments, because you only get those opportunities a few times to see them in like full awkward mode as they're learning this lesson. That's such a beautiful lesson to learn.
I like this idea. The next time we've got an hour to kill before bedtime, we're going to role play scenarios in which we can behave better. I like that.
Oh, so I mean, have fun with it. Have fun as you parent, even in the struggles. Find something to work on and conquer that challenge. And in the midst of that, make the choice of, I'm going to teach them how to do this. They can overcome it. And I'm going to look back on this memory one day and be like, wow, we did a great job. So you can enjoy your parenting.
Awesome.
It's not always easy, but it's great. It's worth trying. So going off of sharing, because sharing is one of the main challenges for a lot of us, no matter the age, like it just kind of morphs into a, got to figure out how to share something else, as find activities and things your kids can do that learns to take turns. Whether that's Jenga, what's another game your kids would play? It's been a while since my kids were tiny.
We've been into Monopoly here recently.
Monopoly?
Yes.
All right.
We have discovered that it's hard for them to keep their attention on the game for as long as it takes. I think we need to probably move to something that is a little faster paced.
All right.
So Jenga was one that we even mentioned this week.
Really?
Yes.
So going off of like parents are sharing with Triple P like their successes. A mom, she got really inspired. She was excited. Her kids have always loved Jenga, and she's home now. So she's like, I'm going to go to Lowe's before I can't go to Lowe's, and I'm going to build that big, giant backyard Jenga thing. So she did.
Every Jenga block weighs 5 pounds.
Yeah, I know. It's a little terrifying for me, but I guess if you got older kids, it's
actually dangerous if the tower falls.
But maybe it's a little fun factor. I don't know. But, find games that are great for your kids with their attention span, like you said, that gives them opportunities to take turns. So that's always good. So, and then point that out as you're seeing that. Like, you are waiting so patiently for her to decide with Monopoly what house she's going to put where. Like, good job. Like just pointing that stuff out. That's really cool.
Right. Cool.
And then, like, as our children start to, we can, as parents, we know our kids. We can see when they've hit their, like, boiling point. Mm-hmm. So we need to jump in right before they hit that as much as possible to help them problem solve this challenging conversation. So like we said earlier, like the words you're saying are okay, but let's work on your tone. Or giving your children permission to say, like, Joey, you played with that for 15 minutes and now it's my turn. Just giving them permission and words to say to help work through challenges or to avoid arguments altogether.
All right.
So very cool.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Trisha. You have any updates for us that we should know about?
We do. So we don't really have a lot of events that we can do right now because, nobody should congregate in groups over 10. So we're going to stick with that. So we have some exciting updates. And as Triple P of Elkhart County, we want to make sure that we're still serving and supporting families. So we're going virtual.
Great.
So we're going to be having weekly videos, support groups, and other online content focusing on common parenting struggles and concerns. So we've got managing work, family, school, and home. We've got balancing just home life. And then, again, like we're just going to be coming up with topics that as we get feedback, as we're hearing what the struggles are, we're going to be serving those and talking about those very specific topics. So I encourage you to visit our website, tripplepofelkhartcounty.org, and figure out what we've got going on because we're doing Facebook Live things.
All right, so it'll be hosted both on your website and on Facebook?
Correct, yes.
Great.
So we've got Anna Sawatsky. She's doing Facebook Live in English. She's doing follow-up, groups on that. Diana Montiel, she's doing this also, but she's doing it in Spanish. So we're reaching the community as best we can. So check us out. Great. Figure out what's going to best meet your needs.
All right.
We'll get through Corona together.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Trisha. Thanks for coming in this morning.
You're welcome.
That's trippleplkhartcounty.org. Thanks, Trisha.
Thank you.